Thank you, Madam Chair, and it's a delight to serve under your chairmanship. And can I congratulate the Honourable Member for Pontypridd on securing such an important debate. Having heard the contributions so far, there is very little to add in the sense of the articulate and passionate way that my colleagues have put over the very real and varied issues of animal welfare that have been exacerbated during the pandemic period. I am always both interested and delighted to follow my right honourable friend for Penrith and the Border, who uses his expertise on these matters as a true animal welfare champion. And I clearly would always turn to his wise words on many of these issues. I, like other members, have consulted many facts and figures regarding what I wanted to say today. But I am going to go back to something that I've spoken to the excellent Minister before. The Minister, who I've had the opportunity to speak with on a number of occasions, is a champion of animal welfare. And rather than simply regurgitate facts, I have to mention my private member's bill, which is snappily titled Pets Microchips Bill, which is asking the government to consider putting Tuck's Law and Gizmo's Law into legislation. And for those who are unaware, Tuck's Law is the aim of my private member's bill, but hundreds of thousands of people throughout the country, is to make it a legal requirement that veterinary surgeons are required to scan for rescue backup contact details, i.e. a former owner or breeder, and contact them to inquire as to whether they would like to take ownership of the pet, and also to confirm the person presenting the animal to the veterinary surgeon is registered on the microchip prior to the euthanasia. Now, when I was first approached regarding this issue, I was absolutely astonished. I have a pet dog, Bertie, who is, along with many other things, the light of my life. The impact of Bertie, bought during the pandemic, especially my two young children, has been a joy to behold. And the idea that people could go into a veterinary surgeon with a fit and healthy dog, present themselves as the owner or not the owner in certain circumstances, and that animal to be potentially euthanized, is clearly something that I think legislation needs to address. I would always, my honourable friend from Penrith and the Border knows far more on these issues than me, but there has been much consultation on this, and I do genuinely believe this is a matter of animal welfare which the government can support. The protection of innocent dogs is something we all want to see strengthened within legislation, and clearly the Animal Welfare Sentencing Bill is an absolute prerequisite in terms of statutory provision for animals. I was a criminal defence solicitor for 16 years prior to coming into Parliament. The sentences in court for animal welfare offences were ludicrously lenient for many, many years, and I congratulate my honourable friend for West Dorset for the work he has done in this Parliament on that issue. Other members have articulated and set out that many, many pets have been bought and purchased over the period of the pandemic. Many of those people who bought the pets in good faith are finding it difficult to cope with those animals now for a wide variety of reasons. And therefore, the role of Tuck's Law to strengthen and to ensure that the temptation, whether it's for a stray animal or for an animal that's been bought, perhaps mistakenly during the pandemic, an animal that perhaps for reasons that the owners cannot cope with, to protect their interests and make sure there is a requirement that the microchip is scanned, the contact details are sought, and every animal is protected. The second part of my submission, what I would like to talk about today, is Gizmo's Law. The first person I met, Mrs. McVeigh, after being elected, was a wonderful lady called Helena Abrahams, who spent the last number of years leading Gizmo's Law. Gizmo's Law is a very simple, cost-neutral measure, and it is simply this: it is to respect pets, both in pet cats in both life and death. Sadly, many pet cats and other pets die on our roads and in various other circumstances, and are found and taken many times to local authorities. Many local authorities dispose of those pets without scanning the microchip that the cat may have, without trying to establish the ownership of a much loved pet. And Helena, who I this is very unparliamentary language, love to death, is so passionate about this, wanting to make sure that not only those pets are respected, that their animal welfare rights are respected, but the owners have the opportunity to be reunited with their pets in these difficult circumstances, has fought a campaign where she has persuaded a very large pet food manufacturer to purchase or to undertake to purchase scanners for every local authority in the country to ensure this is a cost-neutral measure. So I've taken the opportunity today to support everything that my colleagues have said. We need to face up to the realities of the pandemic and its negative impact on many facets of the animal welfare bill. And I hope that my friend may well wish to take the opportunity to support my private member's bill, to support the hundreds of thousands of people who want to put Tuck's Law into legislation, who want to put Gizmo's Law into legislation, who feel that is an animal welfare measure that all of us can support across the political spectrum. And I welcome any further opportunity to speak on this matter with the excellent Minister.
Now, the Honourable Gentleman from Bury North, the owner of Bertie, he and I have many times discussed both Tuck's and Gizmo's laws. The government is a great supporter of microchipping for animals in general, and I am very much hoping that he receives good news on this in the next session of Parliament.